This right here is the video to show the propagation of an action potential down an axon of a neuron. To begin, this here itself is an axon, and this is a neuron. An action potential occurs on a neuron on the axon, and on the axon, this all happens at the nodes of Ranvier. So, this is sodium and potassium. Sodium is on the outside of the cell, and potassium is on the inside. This is this way because of the sodium-potassium pump. These right here are sodium and potassium voltage-gated channels. They allow sodium and potassium to go through. When the cell membrane is at resting potential, both sodium and potassium channels are closed, and the inactivation gates are open. After depolarization begins, this makes the membrane potential more positive. This causes the voltage-gated sodium channels to start opening. As sodium moves across the membrane, then voltage-gated potassium channels open, but at a slower rate. Depolarization happens because more sodium ions go into the cell than potassium ions come out. Next, the inactivation gates of sodium start to close and sodium ions begin to slow down. Potassium channels stay open and move along the cell. This lasts a while to bring membrane potential back to its resting level. Lastly, both gates close, re-establishing resting potential. The rate at which action potential propagation occurs can be found by first increasing the diameter of an axon. When this happens, the membrane resistance decreases, making everything pass through quicker and easier. Now, because of this increase in the action potential, conduction velocity explains why big axons are larger than slower ones. Another way is by increasing the distance along the axon. This is proven by the myelination of axons. This is when oligodendrocytes in the central nervous system and Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system wrap an axon in myelin. Now, before I continue, neuroglia are 4 different types of cells that are located in the central nervous system. Lastly, action potential generation only happens at the nodes of Ranvier. This continues to happen all along the axon and only at the nodes. This propagation is known as saltatory. So, this right here was my video on propagation of an action potential down an axon of a neuron.